They will tell you it's over, that you lost someone, that you let something real slip through your fingers. But let's be honest, you didn't lose them. You lost the version you built in your head. The curated character they performed so well, with just the right lines, just the right timing, and just enough effort to keep you hoping. You weren't in love. You were in a trance. They smiled with borrowed charm, spoke in borrowed words, played a role so polished you mistook it for authenticity. But behind the act, hollow. Behind the connection, calculation. Behind the "I'll never hurt you," a script. And when they disappeared or turned or twisted, you weren't heartbroken. You were waking up, shaken, sure, but free. Because what you lost wasn't love. It was illusion. And illusions don't bleed when they leave. They vanish. You thought you were grieving a person, but you were just detoxing from the fantasy they fed you. Let that sink in. You didn't lose a soulmate. You shed a spell. And now, with clear eyes and a spine forged in fire, you see it for what it was. An empty costume you kept pouring love into. You didn't lose them. You just stopped hallucinating. You didn't see it at first, did you? How could you? They were good. Damn good. They didn't just show up in your life. They staged it. Every move, every glance, every word, calculated to pull you deeper into the fantasy. You weren't in love. You were in awe of a performance. You wanted to believe it was real. You needed to. So when they showed up, playing their part, you were entranced. The "I'm here for you," the "I'll never leave you," all perfectly delivered with just enough conviction to make you believe. But here's the thing. They weren't just fooling you. They were fooling themselves too. Because somewhere deep down, they knew this was a show. And in the end, they knew it'd be easier to walk off stage than face the mess they'd created. Funny how you were the one who was convinced, yet they were the ones who had the best exit strategy planned all along. The truth? They were never real. They were a character. They were the illusion you wanted to believe. And when that illusion started to crack, when their act fell apart, you saw them for what they really were. The mask slipped, and you realized you weren't grieving a person. You were grieving a lie. You held on to the script they handed you, thinking it was love. But love isn't scripted. Love isn't a role someone plays for an audience. You weren't their co-star. You were just a prop in their performance. And now you're left with nothing but the reality of it all. The harsh truth? You didn't lose them. You lost the part of yourself that believed in the fantasy. It's a strange thing, realization. It doesn't come all at once, does it? It's like the slow drip of water, eroding a rock until one day you look at the pieces scattered around you and wonder when everything fell apart. At first you didn't see the cracks. You were too busy buying into the act, too focused on the illusion they created. But now you're starting to see the seams. It wasn't one thing, it was everything. The way they could never quite meet your eyes without looking away. The way their promises were always tied up with conditions, with strings you couldn't quite pull apart. Funny how we're often blind to the things we want to see. You didn't want to believe it, but deep down, you knew. The subtle changes, the little lies, the things left unsaid. You ignored them, though, because the illusion was just too pretty to break. But now, as you sit in the quiet aftermath, the silence is louder than any words they ever spoke. You start to see it all. The way they used you like a plot device. Their affection, a tactic. Their care, a strategy. They weren't interested in who you were. They were only interested in what you represented. You were the illusion they needed to keep their own masks on. They knew how to make you feel seen, how to make you feel important, how to keep you around long enough to fill their own empty spaces. But now that the curtains have fallen, you realize the applause wasn't for you. It was for the performance. And as that truth hits, it feels less like a heartbreak and more like a wake-up call. Because this is the part where most people stay stuck. This is the part where the grief sets in and the desire to cling to what's been lost takes over. But not you. No, you've learned the hard way, and you're not here to mourn the illusion. You're here to reclaim your own clarity. They weren't special. They were just good at making you believe they were. You don't need to chase the illusion anymore. It's gone. And now, for the first time in a long time, you're seeing yourself. Not through their eyes, not through their narrative, but through your own. So, here's the truth. You didn't lose them. You lost what you thought they were. That's not loss. That's liberation. You've just woken up. Now you can see the truth clearly. You didn't need them to begin with. They needed you to believe in their lie. It's funny, isn't it? The moment you break free from the illusion, there's a strange sense of both emptiness and possibility. One door closes, but the other, oh, the other, it's wide open. You step through and realize, for the first time in what feels like forever, you're free. Free from the trap you built around your own mind. Free from the fantasy you created. And now you stand in front of yourself, face to face with the raw truth. No filters, no lies, just you, stripped of all the false hope they planted in your heart. And that's when the real work begins, the rebuild. It's easy to keep chasing the past, to let the ghost of who they could have been haunt you. But let's get real for a second. They're not coming back. Not in the way you imagined. Not in the role you cast them in. And that's not something to mourn. That's something to celebrate. You've got a chance here, and it's not to go back to what you thought was love. It's to build something new, starting with the one person who's been the most neglected, yourself. They were never the source of your strength. You were. They were never the one who held the power to your happiness. You were. And now, with the illusion shattered, you can see what they never wanted you to see. Yourself. And guess what? You're not broken. You're not weak. You're stronger than you've ever been. Because every crack in your heart, every moment of doubt, has only made you more resilient. You're like a blade that's been tempered in fire. sharp, unyielding, and forged through your own trials. The rebuild isn't about patching up the person you were. No, you're not some fixer-upper. You're rebuilding from the ground up. Who you were before, that's a version you've outgrown. You're creating something better, something tougher, something that doesn't need validation from anyone, least of all someone who lied to you. And here's the kicker. While you're building, while you're growing into the person you were always meant to be, they're still stuck in the illusion. They're still looking back, wishing they could be the one to see the new version of you. But that's the thing. They don't get to. You've already moved on, and they'll never be part of this new world you're creating. They can't touch it. Not now. Not ever. The rebuild isn't about getting them back. It's about rebuilding yourself with a strength and clarity they never thought you had. And trust me, when you see yourself for who you truly are, you won't need them anymore. You'll realize that all the energy you spent on them, it should have been spent on you. You're not broken. You're evolving. You're rising from the wreckage they caused. And when you do, it's not to be anything like what they wanted. It's to be everything they never expected. And that's the true power. You didn't lose them. You lost the illusion of who you thought they were. And now, for the first time, you get to create your own reality. Let that sink in. You didn't need their attention. But let's be honest. It feels good, doesn't it? The first time they see it, the new you, the real you, the one that doesn't play by their rules, they won't know what hit them. After all, they were the ones who had you convinced that you'd never get this far, that you were just a pawn in their game. But suddenly, they're watching you rise from the ashes, and now they're trying to piece together what just happened. The transformation they never saw coming, it's slapping them in the face, hard. They might even say they always believed in you. Oh, you've always had it in you, they'll mutter, trying to act like they didn't play a part in the fall you took. Funny how now, when your glow-up is undeniable, they're suddenly pretending like they were your biggest supporter all along. But deep down, they know better. They know they couldn't break you, no matter how hard they tried. And here's the most beautiful part. They never thought you'd become the person you are now. They stalk your social media, keeping tabs on your wins. They reach out through mutual friends, trying to get some kind of inside scoop. They might even send a message or two, fishing for a conversation. But you're too busy living your life to notice their attempts. And that's where the power lies. You're not chasing validation anymore. You're not seeking their approval. You're living for you. And now, they're watching from the sidelines, helpless to change the narrative they helped create. Let's talk about what's really going on here. They see your strength, but they don't understand it. They see your independence, but they don't respect it. They thought you were weak. They thought you were nothing without them. But now that they see you thriving, they're realizing just how wrong they were. The version of you they discarded, it's gone. In its place, a version of you that doesn't need anyone to validate their worth. And here's the punchline. They don't like it. Not one bit. They're jealous. They're uncomfortable. And you know what? That's their problem, not yours. You've learned to stand on your own 2 feet, to face the world without needing anyone to hold your hand or give you permission to succeed. You've become your own source of strength. And that's exactly what they didn't want. They wanted to see you stumble, to see you fall. But what they didn't anticipate was that you were going to rise, stronger, sharper, and more self-sufficient than ever before. The only thing that's left now is their guilt. And trust me, that's eating them alive. Because they know they'll never have the version of you they had before. They know they let something precious slip through their fingers. But here's the kicker. They don't even get to apologize for it. Not yet. Not when they can't even get your attention anymore. So let them watch. Let them stare from the shadows while you continue to shine. Let them wonder how they lost someone like you. And the best part? You're not waiting for their validation anymore. You're already beyond them. Their regret, that's the true punishment. You used to care. Oh, how you used to care. You used to wonder where they were, what they were doing, if they missed you the way you missed them. You'd check your phone, hoping for a message, hoping for that little bit of attention, that tiny confirmation that they still thought about you. But here's the brutal truth. You stopped caring. And you know what? It feels damn good. You see, the real power comes not from what they do, but from how you respond. Or more accurately, from how you don't respond. You stopped running after them, stopped seeking their approval, stopped chasing their validation. And that's when things really started to shift. Funny thing about people who used to hold power over you, they often think they still do. They assume they can just waltz back into your life and pick up where they left off. But you've already left that chapter behind. You've moved on, and they're left in the dust, trying to figure out where they went wrong. You're no longer angry. You're no longer bitter. You're not even frustrated. You're simply detached. And that's where your real strength lies. It's a calm power. The kind of power that doesn't need to scream for attention. It's the type of power that leaves others scrambling, wondering how they lost you without even realizing it was happening. They thought you'd always be there. They thought they could always manipulate your emotions, tug at your heartstrings when it suited them. But now you're out of reach. They want you back, sure. They want to feel that control again. They want to be the center of your world, the one you're constantly thinking about. But now you're looking at them through a lens that's clearer than ever before. You see their games, their tricks, and most importantly, you see their worth. Or rather, their lack of it. The truth? You don't need them anymore. You don't need their approval, their affection, or their presence. They were the stage. You were the fire. Now, you're the spotlight, and they're just background noise. They can try to demand your attention, but you're too busy shining to even notice. And here's the beautiful thing. While they're trying to figure out how to get back in, you're moving forward. You're not stuck. You're not lost in the past. You're building a future that doesn't have room for anyone who doesn't appreciate you the way you deserve. They'll try to come back. They'll try to re-enter your life with their empty apologies and their fake smiles. But here's the deal. They don't get to come back into the world you've built for yourself. They had their chance, and they squandered it. So let them chase. Let them yearn. You're not waiting for them anymore, and you never will again. That's the shift. You stopped caring, and that's when they started to care. Too bad for them, though. By the time they realize what they lost, you'll be so far ahead, they'll never catch up. And now, here you are, stronger, wiser, more aware of your worth than ever before. You're not just moving forward, you're rising, and it's inevitable. You've grown into a force that can't be ignored. You didn't just rebuild your life, you reshaped it entirely. And with every step you take, with every success you stack on top of the last, it becomes clear. You're not the same person they once knew. They thought you were weak. They thought you'd crumble. They thought you'd stay down, stuck in the past, and drowning in regret. But you've proved them wrong in ways they could never have anticipated. You didn't need revenge. You didn't need to seek validation. No, your growth, your success, your very existence has become the biggest slap in the face they'll ever get. They're watching from the sidelines, pretending they're not impressed. But we both know better. They're watching because they can't look away. They're seeing the glow up, the transformation, and it's killing them inside. Their guilt, their regret, it's eating them alive, and they know they can never be part of the life you're building now. That's their karma. Quote, "Success is the best revenge." Frank Sinatra. You didn't need to destroy them. You didn't need to go out of your way to make them suffer. All you had to do was grow. Just by focusing on your own path, you've left them in the dust, wondering how the hell they let you slip away in the first place. They never saw it coming. They never saw you coming. And now, here's the kicker. They're the ones struggling to hold on to a version of themselves that you've long left behind. They're still stuck in the past while you're living in the future. They're still chasing shadows while you're standing in the sunlight. Mic drop. You've become everything they could never reach. You've become everything they'll never be. And as they sit in the corner, trying to figure out where it all went wrong, you'll be out there thriving, living the life you've earned through your own blood, sweat, and tears. You didn't destroy them? No. You didn't even have to fight them. You simply became someone they could never touch. Your success, your growth, your happiness. It's the ultimate revenge. And your silence? That's the loudest justice of all. You didn't just bounce back. You didn't just overcome. You became a force so undeniable, so impossible to ignore, that the only thing they can do is watch in silence as you keep moving forward. And while they're left regretting every mistake they made, you'll be too busy conquering everything they said you couldn't. Because in the end, it's not about revenge. It's about becoming the version of yourself that makes everything they did to you irrelevant. It's about standing tall and realizing that your comeback wasn't just for you. It was a reminder to them that some things can't be destroyed. And you were never meant to be one of those things.